So the teaching strategy that we're going to be focusing on today is explicit direct instruction. And explicit direct instruction is basically the concept of combining a lot of research-based strategies to fit into one cohesive lesson that will be relevant to your student. So the nice thing about explicit direct instruction is that it can be applicable for any skill level, any topic that you're working on, any grade, and so it can be really used for your whole classroom. So there's 7 components to explicit direct instruction. So these are learning objectives, activating prior knowledge, concept development, skill development, guided practice, relevance, and closure. So the first thing you want to do with the class is either introduce the learning objective or just set the stage if it's a younger group of kids, whether that's clapping your hands, singing a song, just trying to get their attention to get them prepared to learn the lesson that you're going to be teaching them. If it's an older group of students, then you might be introducing the learning objectives by saying, today we're going to learn this. And then you're going to move on to activating the prior knowledge. So I think this is a really important part of EDI because you're making the information that you've already learned relevant and applicable to things that you're about to learn. So whether it's something that you learned in a lesson a day prior or in 3 months prior, you're now bringing it out of your long-term memory and applying it to the skills that you're going to learn today. So most often teachers will just, ask, like in the lesson that we're going to do today, I'll ask, what is a rhyme? What do you know about rhyming? What did we learn yesterday about rhyming? Just to get an idea of where everyone is at in the classroom. Once you kind of activate that prior knowledge, then you'll move on to concept and skill development. And this is just basically the concept of introducing the new skill, introducing the new concept that you want the students to learn, either visually, verbally, in a PowerPoint, whatever that might be. And then you would move on to modeling that skill. So the important thing about the modeling the skill is that when you're modeling the skill, you want to also be saying out loud what you're thinking in your mind about learning that skill. So this is really important cognitively so that the students can understand how you're getting to that skill and the steps that you are taking in your mind. So when you're modeling it, you don't want to just circle the ending word that we're going to do in today's lesson, but you also want to say in your mind, okay, I know that rhymes with this word. And so you want to actually say that out loud so that they can make those connections as well. Once you get past modeling, you would move on to guided practice. And this is, giving the students an opportunity to do one example at a time and then either correcting their skill or helping them develop that skill further. And then you would move on to independent practice and assessment, and then closing the lesson. The important thing to know about EDI is that all the components might not take place in one lesson. They may take place over a couple lessons, depending on the length of the lesson and the length of the skill that you're learning. So in today's lesson, we're really going to be focusing on the first couple components, just getting everyone, setting the stage, activating that prior knowledge, and then kind of developing that skill and modeling that skill. We won't really show the later skills such as independent practice, assessment, things of that nature. So we'll get started with the lesson. So the first thing we're going to do is set the stage. So this is for first graders. So the first thing that I'm going to say is 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. And then the students would say
1, 2, eyes on you.
So that will kind of just get everyone ready to go. So today we're going to talk more about rhyming. Yesterday we talked about rhyming. Do you remember what a rhyme is?
2 words that sound the same.
That's right. So rhyming is 2 words that sound the same. Today we are going to be learning about the ending sound AKE. That sounds like ache. So we're going to try to identify different words that sound like ache. So in our example, we have a lot of different words on the board. So I'm going to go through and circle the words that have the ache sound in it. So cake, cake, ache. That has the AKE sound. Make, make. That has the AKE sound. Stop. Stop doesn't sound like AKE, so I'm going to move on to the next word. Beep. Does beep sound like AKE? Ache. No. So I'm going to move on to the next one. Fake. Fake, ache. They sound the same, so I'm going to circle that word. Take. Take and ache. They sound the same, so I'm going to circle that word. So now you can see that we found 4 of the words that all sound the same. Cake, make, fake, and take. Now we're going to erase this and we're going to try some words together. All right. Let's write some more words down. Okay. Okay, so now you are going to go through and we're going to do one word at a time, and you can tell me if it has the same sound as ache.
Steak.
Yes. So if it has the same sound, you're going to circle it. Good.
Bake.
So bake has the same sound, so you're going to circle that word.
Stop. No.
Stop doesn't sound like AKE, so you're not going to circle that word. Okay, so we activated the prior knowledge. We talked about what a rhyming word was and what we knew about a rhyming word, and then the teacher modeled how you would identify the word visually on the board, or if it were to be on a piece of paper. And then the guided practice is doing them one at a time. So she would circle the word steak, and you would say, yes, that rhymes with ache. So doing them one at a time would be the guided practice. If we were to move further in this lesson, then we would do a worksheet that they can do at their seat, and they would complete that, and then we would go over it together. So that's explicit direct instruction in a summary.